All right, Frankie, we got to talk a little bit about the biggest story over the weekend, which was the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, specifically that controversial ending to it, the last lap. Now, it's interesting because we on this show probably would never even be talking about F1 if it were not for the Netflix Drive to Survive show. It's made us fans of it. Well, me anyways. I know it's on your list.
I'll get there. I'll get there.
It's queued up for you to watch it, right?
I'll get there.
And the decision behind all the controversy, I think, could be traced back to that show and creating more drama for that show. If you're unfamiliar with what happened going into the race, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen were both tied in points going into the final race, making this the biggest race probably of the past decade. Hamilton led for so much of the race and even built himself a huge lead. Now, as a fan, and as I was watching it, I was thinking in my head, I really want Max to close the gap here so that we could see some drama at the end of the race. Because up to that point, other than the first lap, there wasn't really any. But so with about 10 laps left, there was a big gap, and Max pretty much needed a miracle. And he ends up getting one because Nicholas Latifi crashes into the wall, and the safety car comes out. Red Bull brings Verstappen into the pits to change his tires in the event that the race restarts. While he pits, 5 cars that are lapped get in between Max and Lewis. Now, with the track clear as the safety car-led pack started the last lap, race control then decides to let selected cars, not all of them, selected cars, the 5 between Hamilton and Verstappen, in first and second respectively, unlap themselves. This is not something that usually happens. This means going into the final lap, we're going to see what we all want to see. Hamilton and Verstappen duke it out, so to speak. The problem, though, is that now Max has an immediate advantage because he's got the faster, fresher tires. He ends up passing Lewis and wins the race, and he wins the title. Now, I got to give Lewis Hamilton credit because in his post-race interview, the guy showed only class when many would have lost their minds. Now, going back to the Netflix show, James Hinchcliffe, the Canadian IndyCar racer, had an interesting tweet. He said, "Man, racing is wild when Netflix is making the calls." It made me think. Everyone who was watching that race wanted there to be drama there, and up to that point, there wasn't any. The race officials made a controversial decision, but it's what we all wanted. And it's going to make terrific TV for Netflix, and it's only going to grow the sport even more. There are even more storylines going into next season. Controversial, yes. Bending the rules, yes. But the right call, man, I got to say, I think so. I think it only benefits the sport way more than if they just let the safety car bring that race into the finish line and Lewis wins again. So, Frankie is not a racing fan and you haven't watched the show yet. What do you think of bending the rules a little bit to create that more drama and it ends up going the way it does?
You know, I think you encapsulated that so well. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to go and watch it. But you know what, Joe? Like, that's kind of what we were talking about off air here is I'm queued up to watch it. Listen, folks, when you got kids that are young and you want them to go to bed, you don't really have time to watch stuff like this, but I'm going to make a point to watch it. But
especially when Leaf games are taking up like 4 of your nights of the week, 100%.
Right? But what I'm getting at is they're trying to capture the casual fan. Mm-hmm. I'm a casual fan. I used to watch F1 way back when Michael Schumacher's and the Mika Hakkinens and the Jacques Villeneuve used to be up Sunday morning to watch it. Then it kind of lost its luster. Think about things like Hard Knocks and like behind the Winter Classic, you know, all 24. That stuff there captures the casual fan, but the hardcore fan as well gets that much more into it, and it kind of brings it all together because now it gets us talking on the same platform, and it's that type of stuff that wants to make me a casual fan get into it. And look at you, like you become a fanatic. Right. Yeah. So you're right. Anything that you add drama to, it's so much better for the sport. And no, it's not fixed. You can't. I don't think you can fix stuff like that.
It's not fixed, but it's not fair. It's not particularly fair either. And I will say that. Like watching the show, I'm more of a Lewis Hamilton fan than Max Verstappen fan, and because I really like the guy, but I love that ending. It was like I was on my seat for the whole race, and when that lap started, I was off my seat, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is nuts! This is crazy! This is what we all wanted." So
But you know what, too, Joe? You know what Netflix probably does really well too in a situation like this, and in fact that it worked out even better. Sports are always better when there's a rivalry. When a rivalry is created, Lewis Hamilton may have won championship after championship after championship, and he's one of probably not the greatest ever. Now he has a natural rival. It happened in tennis when Federer became Nadal, and then Djokovic. Like it just makes a maybe not as common sport more appealing to the to the casual fan. That's what
I
intrigues me now.
I agree, and I'm already looking forward to that. I wrote a tweet like, Netflix, get on it. We want this season out immediately, and I specifically want to see that last episode because it's going to be must watch television. So yeah, we don't talk about racing much, but after that, what we just saw this weekend, it was a must. So Frankie, I want to talk about it when you catch up because you've got 3 seasons to catch up before the next season comes out. All right, there's some
Done.
homework for you.
Done.